Everyone. Sorry I'm late. I was pulling up garlic, and when the sun is out later, I forget what time it is. So, thank you guys for being here. You made it. I finally made it. And yeah, I'm Katrina. This is Sow and Tare. I was just out in the garden. Um and yeah, this is the weekly live chat, 6 p.m. Pacific time, except for when I come a couple minutes late. Sorry. And let's get started. First off, I'm going to tell you guys we had tons more rain. I know a lot of people had storms this week, so I hope everybody is good from the storms and that it didn't hit anybody too bad. I know that's sometimes wishful thinking, but hopefully it is true. And hopefully, if you did get hit, you didn't get hit that bad. Um, yeah, there we go. All right, let's scroll up to, let's see, scroll up to the start of the chat. If you are new here, go ahead and you can let us know whether or not you're new here, that you're here. But if you're new here, go ahead and let us know what you're growing, what you're planning to grow, what you're hopefully wanting to learn from this. And there we go. And of course, my mouse isn't working. So we're coming closer, guys. Okay. All right. Jacob's here. Hello, everyone. Hello, Jacob. Jacob is one of the channel members. Katrina's Kits is the name of the game. And if you want to join, we do a monthly Cook With Me Live. We are going to be making Robert Redford cake and beef stroganoff the 26th. I think it's a Saturday. Somebody can correct me. But if you want to join us, then there's a link in the description of all of them. There's a join button, and I'm looking for right here. Why can I never find this one? There we go. All right. And you can do this link right here. Now, I'm going to bring this up just because I think 3 Katrina's Kits are on here right now. For Mother's Day, a local group that I'm involved in is doing a bake sale. So I am thinking the weekend before Mother's Day, maybe we make whatever I'm making for that. What do you guys think? It might be bread, it might be cookies. And I mean, I know we're doing cake this time. I try not to do desserts 2 times in a row. It might be a marathon. You might get to pick only one thing or another that you want to actually do, but think about that while we talk, and we don't have to answer right now. All right. So welcome. And Verna's here. Welcome, Verna. Verna is Vase Place with Little Wrench in blue. She's my moderator. She is awesome. And if you are apartment living, check out her channel. She does good stuff. All right. And Verna was the only one there for a while. That's okay. Andy's here. Hello, Andy. Welcome. Hope you're doing well. PJ's here. She's also Katrina's Kit. Welcome. I hope you're doing well. I hope everybody's doing well. I should just say that out front. Dawn's here. Welcome, Dawn. All right, everybody's saying hello to each other. This is the type of community we are. All right. A long day, PJ says. Just sat down to eat dinner. Has the baby eaten dinner? PJ raises some goats and has a goat baby right now. All right. Andy says, what's happening with you all? I got my taxes done. That is my huge news of the week. I'm going to review them tonight and send them out tomorrow, but I got them done. It's worth noting, you guys. All right. Brenna says, chilly now and tomorrow. Old man winter won't give up. Yeah, we have rain again. Well, that's okay. It's okay. Andy says, I'm over winter. I keep forgetting that I have these because it's only like for one eye and it's so minor, but I should wear them and maybe clean them. All right. Next 2 nights will be below freezing. Wow. You're back in it, huh? We had a little bit of snow, like a little dusting this last week, and that was it. But the top of the hills you could see had snow. Yeah. Buster says hey to all. Hey Buster, welcome. Okay, here's PJ's story. I figured she would tell it. 5 baby goats born this morning to one mama. You missed the most important detail, PJ. 3 bucklings out of 4 didn't make it. 1 doeling I'm trying to bottle feed. So mama should have plenty of milk for that other one, huh? Yeah. All right, having freezing temperatures at Andy's too. All right. Yeah, PJ, you've been busy, and that's too many babies to fit inside any mama except for a rabbit. Oh my goodness, that's a lot. So I hope you're doing okay with that. Dawn says last below freezing night tonight, 27. That to me sounds like you are daring Mother Nature. I'm putting quail babies 1 week today, outside tomorrow in the heated cage. Make room for yesterday's hatch 19. You are off and running. I love it. Yeah. Yep. I don't know what you forgot, but it's okay, Brenna. PJ woke up to snow with windows open on the barn doors. Oh, goodness. Everybody was okay, right? Hopefully. Erica, welcome back. She's a member. She has been a member as well. She's Katrina's kit. And yeah, welcome back. Hope you're doing well. Why are we waiting? Haha. Steve, you showed up at 6:02. Steve is my other moderator. He is a blue with a little wrench, and he is awesome. And you were waiting because I was in gardening mode. And it's still light out. And I didn't have an alarm. There we go. PJ says, gotta save this little girl. Took her to work with me to keep her warm and fed. Wow, that's awesome. I mean, it's not awesome that you have to do that. It's awesome that you're able to do that. Yeah. All right, everybody's saying hi, hi, hi. Yeah, I think I would bring it to work too. I one time, so Meatball was a doe rabbit that I had. And she died in childbirth. And her last litter, I think she had 8. I have a video on that, on taking care of the babies. Maybe I'll try and find it real quick while we're talking. But I had a video on that, and I had a party to go to, and it was like kind of a thing that I've been planning for a while. And so I was like, well, if I bring the babies, I need to, and there was only 3 at that point. Meatball. And I actually had, I brought them with me, and they all ended up dying by the end of the party. And I kind of expected that, based on kind of what the other ones were doing. And Meatball's last litter, here's a link for that. So I actually had them in my bra, and they were good for a while. I had done that a couple days before, when it was getting down to 3 of them. When rabbits make their own heat, so they don't generally need body heat. But when it's that many, it's not that many. And I knew I was going to have to feed them while I was gone if they were going to live. And I knew that they needed body heat, and they were the head of the party. Everybody was like, "Oh, can I see?" It was a little interesting, but it kept them warm. I mean, I'm not suggesting you do that with a goat. Goats are a little bigger, but yeah, you do what you can. You do what you can. Rain for 6 days, and today was the first sunny, pretty day. Wow, Dawn. Yeah, it rained here. Hey, my mouse is back. All right. It rained here for a long time too. And we had a sunny weekend, and I didn't get to enjoy hardly any of it because I was doing my taxes, but I got my taxes done. Old man winter refuses to retire. Yeah, yeah, temporary retirement. Yeah, exactly, Steve. Take your kid to work day. That's what they really mean. That's what you should do on take your kid to work days. Everybody should bring goats to work. That would be hilarious. That would be hilarious. Good idea, Steve. Steve has good ideas. Oh my goodness. Erica had 3 inches of water on her yard Saturday. Was that from aerial flooding? Like, was it raining that much, or was it from overland flooding, like runoff, or did a creek come up to where you were? If there's a fourth choice, let me know. Has it subsided? I'm hoping you're okay. Yeah, man. Hoping you and your animals are okay. Oh, Jacob's not back yet. Okay. He will be. Dawn says, I still have standing water in the back, but we have to mow tomorrow, so it will be gone by the afternoon. Oh, not so it will be gone. It will be gone. Okay. Okay. Good, good. Chocolate cheesecake is what it should be. You know, I like regular cheesecake better than chocolate cheesecake. I really love chocolate. But to me, the pureness of a cheesecake is a really good cheesecake. Like, good. Oh, Jacob says, I'm back. Welcome back, Jacob. Had to finish up with my quail. I'm saving up my eggs to incubate. Awesome, awesome. Very good. Sounds good for bake sale stuff. Okay. Bake sale sounds fun. So yeah, I don't know what I'm doing yet. I kind of gave a list of things that I can do, and I can do a lot of it. This is my first time being involved in this. I know when I made chili to go to the chili cook-off, I made way too much. So I don't know what we're expecting, and I've asked them via email, like, hey, what are we expecting? I kind of go overboard on these things. But yeah, okay. All right. So that will be in the beginning part of May. So we're going late April, beginning part of May. That's good. Okay. Bake sale stuff sounds fun. Good. Steve says, y'all make something for sale at a bake sale and ship it to Katrina to donate. Yeah, I don't know about that. Tax write-off? No. Oh, Verna's birthday's on Mother's Day. Oh, that's why you suggested chocolate cheesecake. If I lived close to you, I would make you chocolate cheesecake. Then invite you over for chocolate cheesecake. Or if you make it out to Oregon, we can do that. Andy says, my town flooded. Wow. You're okay? Is the town generally okay? Is it recovered? Is it still going on? Yeah, like I said, all I know is there was a bunch of storms. I saw some pictures of things, but it's a lot. Steve says we get frost tonight. Hopefully it's the final frost. No snow forecasted, only a freeze at Verna's or a show. Buster says we had 1 inch of snow Sunday morning, heavy frost this morning. It's late for us to have snow. Yeah, weather is a little wonky, and I don't yet know the normalcy here, so I don't know if that's normal here or if it's not. Yeah. 28 and 25 coming up for Verna's. Yeah, taking your kid to work, toting a kid. There you go. Raining. Okay. So it was just raining that hard that it just came up. The first time I saw that as a warning that came up on my phone was when I was in Gilroy, my old place, and it said aerial flooding. And I had never heard that before in my life. But what it meant is that it was just raining so hard that it wasn't going anywhere. It didn't have time to go anywhere, and it would flood. Yeah. Andy says we got so much rain it filled a mineral tub full of water. Yeah, that sounds like a lot. And Erica says our pond is too far from the house to be a problem in the yard. It's probably a good thing. Should probably dig an overflow for it to go somewhere. Andy says I'm okay. I'm too high up to get flooded. The water has gone down and people are cleaning up. Yeah, I think people here are still cleaning up from the flooding that happened here. I mean, you guys saw what happened in my place was not nearly hardly anything. I mean, water did get underneath the house, but I'm on a hill. I'm not down by the creek, and there's 5 feet of water in some people's yards. Why people are allowed to build in floodplains where it's 5 feet of water as a potential, I don't know. I think people forget. I know that's something that when I was in Iowa, so I did my undergraduate work in Iowa, and they had houses on stilts, and I'm like, why is this a thing? And then there was a big flood. I think it was when I was going to school there. It was either then or slightly after that. And all these places got flooded out. And then, they were talking about it on the news that a lot of places had been flooded out previously, like in other floods. And then they swore that it would never be built on again. And then they built on it. And it's like, we don't have the historic memory in a lot of different ways, but for flooding, for river flooding, at least. And you can't help what comes out of the sky. All right, Erica says we had tornadoes in our area Friday and heavy rain all day Saturday. Wow. Steve says I said that too high to flood once and lost my house. Oh my gosh, did you? I thought I was too high to flood when I bought this place. I was like, well, there's the FEMA flood map for the creek over there is non-existent. All of that it's raised many, 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 many feet. And I would still be surprised if it ever got flooded from the creek. I'm not saying it wouldn't happen. I'm saying I would be surprised. But what I didn't expect is the flooding to come from inside the hill, coming out in our artisanal spring and coming overland down the hill. Like that's what I totally didn't even expect. Yeah. All right. Erica said, we are going to put a French drain, just haven't been able to yet. Yep, I am too. So I'm just going to go over really quick what a French drain is for people that might not know. I think I've talked about it on here before, but in case people are tuning in that don't know, a French drain, basically you do that in an area, you do that to protect an area from flooding and from overland flooding. And so what it is it's basically, so it's usually some sort of weed barrier that you put down first so that dirt doesn't gunk up the system. And you put drain pipe in. Now, drain pipe comes in different sizes. The most popular one is a 4-inch one. It comes in 6-inch. I think it might even come in 12-inch. I don't know. But it comes in different sizes. And what you do is you put that at the bottom of the trench. And you have it not level. So you have it angled. So okay, drain pipe is that black corrugated pipe that has like, it's corrugated, but the drain pipe that you put in there has slits in it. You can also get it so that it has like a big sock over it, so you don't get any soil into that, and you can just bury that. That's also an option. But when you bury it, what you're doing is you're burying it in gravel. So the water hits the gravel that's in a trench, and it goes down, and then it goes into the pipe, and the pipe is set at a angle so that it'll go one way or the other off to somewhere that's more acceptable to have water. And so like that's what I'm going to do around the back of the house. So anything that comes off of the back of the house, the back of the hill, would go around into the front, into the ditch by the road. And I mean, mine's going to be industrial sized after all the water I see going out. Yeah. Okay. Andy says, as far as I know, mostly businesses got the worst of the water this time. I think the houses that are on the flood zone have been taken out of living conditions after last flood. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Jacob's sick of snow. Woke up the snow again, and by 2 p.m. it was gone at least. Well, you do live in, is it Wisconsin? In arid area that it snows. So, yeah, there's snow. All right, Tommy's here, Aquatic News Network. Welcome, welcome. Howdy, Earthlings. Howdy, Tommy. Hope you're doing well. All right. Andy says, all I can say is why play with Mother Nature? You will lose every time. Yep, and she will do just fine when we are gone. Yeah. If anybody remembers, I think I might have said, hey, let's do that as a topic for next week from last week, and I don't remember what that was. If anybody remembers what that might have been, or maybe I'm thinking of a different week, shout it out, but also type it in the computer because I won't be able to hear you. Anyway, yeah, so let's continue. Yeah, so a lot of weather related stuff. We're back to rain. We're going to rain for a little bit, then we're going to have a little bit of sun. I'm having solar put in across the road starting tomorrow, so that will be good. I'm also going to be having someone out to look at cutting the area for the food forest, and I think he's coming out tomorrow. We haven't set it on a time or anything, but I think that's happening tomorrow. I've contacted a fencing person, getting a bid for that. Once I have the clearing person scheduled and the fencing person can schedule after that, then I can maybe start planting things. In the meantime, this weekend, because I didn't happen this last weekend, or sometime this week, I will be making a temporary bed for all of the things that I got that I shouldn't have got yet for the food forest. Not that I shouldn't have got them, that need a home, that need to go on the ground right now. And then I'll be like temporary fencing that. And I'll make that bed in an area that's going to be increased. Where the garden is right now, there, I'm going to increase the garden size. And so it will be within that area, which will be fenced later. Yeah, but that needs to happen soon. And then if they start leafing out and stuff like that, then things will just be transferred in the fall of next year, or of this year, the fall of this next fall. I wouldn't rip them out of the ground. I wouldn't rip them out of the ground, but I wouldn't dig them out of the ground while they're fully leafed out and all that. So that needs to happen, will happen by the end of this coming weekend. I want to do it this week, but I have a lot of other things. But tax it out of the way. I have no bunnies to process. I do, but it's going to wait a week. And we'll go from there. All right. Moringa. Thank you, Andy. Okay, we're not going to talk about yet. I knew there was something. I just didn't remember what it was. I was going to say it on the video I made last night for today. But then I was like, I don't remember what it is, so I'm not going to say it. All right. Tommy says, I'm doing great, thank you. Within the next couple days, I'm going to head out to one of our creeks and do a new segment about the importance of creeks for erosion, stability, and the ecosystem. So Tommy's doing a new channel more based on ecology and conservation, is my understanding. And it would be interesting, Tommy, if you could do a turbidity test or use a Secchi disc. I think it's SECCI. If you don't know what that is, look it up, and it'd be interesting. You can go around to different places and measure turbidity. If you're looking at erosion, turbidity is a good measure. I will try and type that out. Turbidity. Seki disc. And I think that's how you spell it. Let me see. There's an H in there. Where are you guys? Okay. So that, what I just typed is for Tommy. And it'll be interesting to see if you go to different places, different creeks or different places along the same creek, and you're looking at different erosional features. That would be a good measurement for you to look at. Okay. Jacob says, me and my wife did manage to get our seed trays all done today, so that's a bonus. Awesome. The thing I did for gardening, is I ordered some plants from Azure Standard because I was on there. I needed to get something, and I was in a mode apparently, so I got a bunch of plants from them. I haven't started any plants. Honestly, for the garden, I don't know that I will. I might start some things, but it might just be that I buy starts this year because that's kind of where I am with a bunch of things right now. Yeah. All right. Da, 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 da. Dawn says, if you keep getting a lot of rain, your solar won't be working. You'll need a huge battery bank. I do have battery banks. So we already took into account the weather stuff, we meaning the solar people. And I do. I have EcoFlow, the whole house system, and with the smart home panel as well. Was not cheap. It was part of the plan though. So yeah, that is good. I know. So Melanie has EcoFlow. They don't have the whole house thing, but they have some of it, and they really liked it. And I think Tim with 340 Quail Farm, he went through a hurricane with EcoFlow. So those are the two people I know that have it. And but I got the whole house system. I'm getting it by the end of the week, or probably it might be next Monday. But by the time they have everything in and good to go, it will run this whole house, including the well, not the cabin. So this whole house, including the well pump, and except for the clothes dryer, one designated plug in the kitchen, and another random plug that I don't need. So it'll be pretty much good to go. And I'll just be paying for the dryer at that point, because honestly, I'm going to put plug covers in the ones that are on the grid, and unless I need them, I'm not going to use them. That makes it really easy when you have a plug cover over it. So that will be really good. It will pay for itself in my lifetime, but the better reason for doing it is there's power outages on this road quite a bit, and they turn off the power in this region for like fire stuff in the summer, and so I'll be able to keep all my refrigerator, freezer, all that going, the heater going, I do have multiple sources for heat, so I'm not that concerned. But if I'm not home, and let's say I have a dog, because that's going to be in the picture at some point, or just not to freeze the pipes, I want to have the mini splits work. And then if I do have a fire in the fireplace, I want the blower to work, because that makes sense to have the heat actually circulate, all of that. But that's the plan. Hopefully it works like that once things are in, but there's stuff going to be happening here. But yes, I did actually buy starts from Azure Standard, and I know there's people locally that start plants, and I might just buy from them. My hope is that things are not going to be as crazy this summer as far as projects. That I will already be kind of in full swing on some of these things. After so once So the fencing people, it'll be a two-phase approach. One will be the garden extension, so they'll be doing rabbit and deer fencing for that, and then also that same fencing for the chicken run. So the chickens, once I get netting, get the new fencing up, the netting on the top, all of that, then they can actually go outside. They have window sun right now, but they're going to be so happy to have so much room. They've never had that much room. They're city chickens, so actually where they are living is bigger than where they lived before, but they will be happy. And then at that point I can start getting more chickens and stuff. And then so the next big project after that would be the high tunnel, and hopefully the area will be prepped for that while the logging is happening. And yeah, I know I don't need a permit for that. I just need to let planning know where it is, which is interesting. I guess as long as you don't actually heat it, you don't need that, which is interesting. I did call on that. But that is where quail will go. So once that is in, then I will be starting to think about quail, which will be good. All right. Erica says, by the way, Lucas passed his canine good citizen test. He is going to test for advanced CGC. I don't know what that is. Oh, canine good citizen tomorrow. Awesome. You got a good little boy with that. You got a good boy. Like PJ says, you go, Lucas. Awesome. All right. Tommy says, would turbidity be the same as a TDS test? Electro test of positive ions available in the water. You're gonna have to look that up because I always called it a turbidity test, but it could be. Is that like a you put a probe in there and it tells you an answer? If it is, then yes. If not, then no. Dawn says, I had to replant pepper seeds today because my parrot ate mine off. He got into the dining room because he heard quail babies. Dawn, does that surprise me? No. How is he doing with all the quail babies? Yeah. Total dissolved solids. Yeah, so total dissolved solids would be a turbidity, a measure of turbidity. Yeah. Turbidity is a term. How you test for it, there's going to be multiple different ways. One of which is the Secchi disc, which it's a disc that disc is circle. Okay. It's a circle that has 4 quadrants, and 2 opposite are black and 2 opposite are white. And what you do is you lower it into the water column, and until you can't tell the difference between the black and the white. And the depth at which you can't tell that difference will give you a measurement. So you'll have to look up how to read, like how to get the results of the test. But basically the deeper you can put that disc and still see the difference between the black and the white, the less turbidity there is, and the more clear the water is. So it's a visual, it's a fun visual. Yeah. But it could give the same results. Joy's here. Hello from Western Oregon. Hello, Joy. Hope you're doing well. Are you getting all this rain I'm getting? She's a little further north than me. All right. Jacob says, last year I used my EcoFlow. Oh, you do? To run my wood furnace for a day and a half because we lost power from an ice storm. Awesome. You're the 3rd person I know that has EcoFlow besides me. And it worked really good then. That's good. That's really good. Yeah, I think battery bank backup is a really good thing to have. Generators are good. I also have a generator, but generators are good. But the thing I like about the EcoFlow is you can charge it many different ways. So even if I wasn't doing a whole house generator or a whole house battery backup, Number one, you can charge it directly with a generator. You can charge it directly from a wall socket if you just need to charge it up and be ready for an emergency. You can charge it directly with high power solar, and you can charge it directly with low power solar. And you can charge it and offload the energy at the same time. And that's where I think it is different than a lot of other brands, because a lot of brands, you fill it up, then you drain it. So like if you needed to power something in your house, you could have a generator outside and then bring your EcoFlow, inside and have that plug to there, and not have to have the generator. Never put a gas generator inside your house. It's a bad idea. But you can have it further out and not hear the noise and all that too. But yeah, good. I'm glad it worked for you. Jackie's here. It's okay to be late. I was late. Jackie, I was 3 minutes late. Welcome. I hope you're enjoying the content. Yeah. Oh no, Jacob says I woke up at 3 a.m. and could see my breath. Yeah. Yeah. So people talk about, and I don't remember what year it is, but people talk about here Snowmageddon. That's what they call it. And where I am is not, it doesn't get terribly cold. I'm in USDA planting zone 8B. Really, the coldest you might expect it to get is 15 degrees. So, yeah, freezing, but not, it's not zero. It's not negatives, all that. And there was one year in recent history that apparently, like, everything was freeze. Like the water lines were freezing. People's heaters weren't keeping up. The power was going out because there was ice storms. So people had like their fireplaces going, but like you wake up and it's cold and you stoke the fire again and all that. So yeah, that I missed that, and that's okay with me. But I'm also now prepared to face that. I don't want it to happen. We're going to knock on some wood here, but yeah, you hear about it, and it's. I mean, it's concerning. It's life threatening. It's to be that cold, but it's also like not like it gets in the Midwest or Alaska or even like that. Yeah, but that's cold. Vernon doesn't take attendance. Steve might. No, you're good. 64 quail eggs in incubation for Jackie. Awesome. Is this your first batch or have you done it before? And what kind? Awesome, awesome. Good luck. Yeah, Jacob says I like to sleep cold, but not that cold. You're not working on your red flannel? I don't know. Any Boy Scouts in the audience? Um, yeah, good luck and happy hatching from Verna. Also, yes. Okay, put a probe in, gives you an answer. Yeah, that's likely measuring turbidity. But the Secchi disc might give you a better visual for your channel. And it's actually an official measurement. Like they measure like Tahoe with that. Like they go way, way down. And Crater Lake. Yeah. Don says the parrot goes in where the brooders are and watches the quail babies. But now he wants to fly the whole house for his 2-hour free flight time. I had to order 120-inch long curtain to go floor to ceiling. Oh my gosh. Oh, Joy's getting rain. All right. Hopefully you are safe from flooding. Yeah. And Tommy says it's like a mix of TDS and PAR. PAR is measurement of how much radiant light hits certain depth of water. Yeah. Yeah. So like I said, there's multiple ways to measure turbidity, and that's yeah. Anyway, that's good. Oh, Dawn, free flight time isn't free flight, huh? Aquatic says that's an expensive meter. Oh, the PAR is. All right. It's 750 to 800 parts per million clear with a pH of 8.5 to 9.5. Wow, depending on the time of day. Okay. It would be interesting to see what it is in different areas along the same creek. Yeah. It's a fed creek from a huge spring near my house. Awesome. Good. Oh, Jackie says, yes, I watch a bunch of your videos and thank you because I learned so much. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah. If there's topics that you haven't come upon, let us know. I probably already did a video, but we're always doing more videos. If it's something I can help you with, we'll do it or make a video and all that. All right, Jackie's first batch of jumbo browns and mixed jumbo. Awesome. Good. Jumbos are good. I like jumbos. I like the jumbo browns the best. Yeah, good luck. All right. Let's see. Jacob says the coldest it got here this year that I noticed was -18, not counting wind chill. Coldest with wind chill, -32. Yeah, that's because you live where you live. All right, let's talk moringa. So I don't remember, Andy, was it you that wanted to talk moringa? Did you have certain questions or qualities that you wanted to share with people? First, any tips or tricks when using tires to grow potatoes? I've not used tires to grow potatoes. I'm a little trepidatious about what might get leached into the soil, but what you're talking about is hilling potatoes, right? So when you plant potatoes there are two different types of potatoes. So make sure the type of potato you are using for the hilling is the hilling type. I don't have a list for you, but you can look at it. You can, if you know what type you're growing, look it up online and make sure that it is a type that you hill, and that's what they call it, is hill or hilling. And then when you plant them in that first tire, and then let it grow. And you can cover it with straw. You can cover it with soil. You can do either or both. I have hilled with soil and that works, and I have hilled with straw or hay, really, and that works too. So the only way hay or straw might be a bad idea is if you get a lot of rain. It might rot. Somebody in a place where it gets a lot of rain, let me know if that's true. But when it starts to grow and it grows up, let it grow for a while, and then start adding 6 inches of substrate, whatever you're using, and then let it grow more and add more. And so what the goal is to get the plant part to grow enough in that time period to get high enough above the soil that when you cover up part of it, you don't cover up the whole thing, cover up part of it with soil, that the roots will then form off of the stem. So potatoes and tomatoes are related. And at least with tomatoes, the stem, all those little fuzzies, have the potential to turn into roots. And you can when I plant tomatoes, I plant them sideways. So people say to plant tomatoes deep. I plant them not instead of deep this way, I plant them deep this way. Little greens at the top. And the reasoning why I do it more shallow is because more nutrients are going to be towards the surface of the soil. And their roots can then go down into the bulk of the soil. And so that it's kind of simulating that where you have roots growing where they didn't grow before. And so each layer that you put on with a tire or with a wood box or with whatever, I might actually do that this year because there's 4 tires out by the garden. I might try it. I don't know. Does anybody have any evidence of tire stuff getting into the potatoes? Anyway, so 1, make sure that it's a hilling type of potato. And then 2, when you're covering up the green part of the plant, don't cover the entire thing. Leave some leaves up on the upper part. And yeah, there we go. All right. Andy says, I bought some USB lights that I can use with the battery packs, the kind that is used to change or to charge a cell phone or that runs my heated vest. Yes, that's good. We lost power a few times during the flood. And it's good to have backup power. Dawn says, it finished up last night. The little giant beat out the Barodo because it turned cold. Furnace ran, and the Barodo is more of a southern incubator. They ended up, okay, 19 out of 24. All right. All right. Yeah, that was a test hatch. Okay. Verna says, usually don't have to worry about rubber until it burns. Yeah, I know like the rabbits' dishes are rubber. Like that's kind of typical to use for animals, but I don't know if what tire rubber is versus things made for animals. Yeah. You're welcome, Joy. Yeah. All right. Dawn says, gee, I don't know about tires. They use them all over the parks for kids to play on in different shaped things. This is true. But as time tells, a whole bunch of things that are commonplace become not commonplace. We get smarter. Science evolves. We have abilities to test things we didn't have before. Yeah. I don't know. It's just a thought. All right, so let's talk moringa. I haven't actually looked at moringa in a while, but Dawn says garden centers sell recycled tire chips for tree rings. They do that, yeah, but you're not necessarily eating the tree. That's the difference with that. Okay, there is two types of rubber. Tires usually have metal rods. Okay. You're up on Tupperware. Yep. Yeah, those park tires are for durability, not safety. I know we had tractor tires that we roll down a hill in, right? All right, let's talk moringa. Moringa is a awesome plant. It is a tree, and it's also called the drumstick tree. It has a couple other names. It's called drumstick tree because it has these long seed pods. They're like that long and like that thick, like a drumstick. And literally like every part except for the roots is edible. The roots, I believe, is abortant. Don't quote me on that. I'm going from memory. But the entire rest of it is edible. The flowers are delicious. The leaves taste like green. They don't have, to me at least, they don't have any particular flavor. I've never had the drumsticks, the seed pods, but the young seed pods are cooked and eaten. And the greens are so high in all of the amino acids that you need. So basically, it can take care of all of your protein, um, the components that make up the proteins that you need, and it is awesome. Um, just the nutritional viability that is there. And a lot of places where it grows natively, some of the people don't get that nutrient because like they'll boil it and throw out the water. When you do that, the water is where the nutrients is. Um, or stuff like that. So learning if you're going to cook it, learning how to cook it is a good thing to do. You can have it raw, you can have it cooked, freeze dried, or dehydrated is good. The powders that you get in the store, what you want to make sure is that it hasn't been heated too much, because that can, whenever there's something leafy, heating it too much can affect the nutrients it has. It has so many nutrients, and I'm not prepared to tell you which ones they have, but it's really an amazing plant. The seeds are also tasty to eat. They are expressed for oil. So the moringa seed oil is used for cooking, and um, it's used in cosmetics as well. And then once they've pressed the seed for the oil and they get all the oil out, that seed mush, the seed mash, is used as a flocculant. Quiz of the day. What does flocculant mean? Anybody already know that with Googling it? All right, I'm going to read this while you guys tell me because I already know. All right. Andy says, I think it's funny everything is called Tupperware. Now my people too young to even know what that is. You know, Tupperware is actually still sold. Same with, Kleenex instead of tissue, Ziploc instead of like zip top bag. But also what I think is funny, like if you open a Word document and there's that thing, that's the save button, and it probably doesn't make any sense to people that are young right now, but that's a floppy disk. It's a picture of a floppy disk. Yeah. All right. Moringa's not hardy in Dawn's zone. It is not hardy in a lot of zones, but it can be grown as an annual. And I know where I was in 9B, it would die down. It's supposed to die down to the, not supposed to, but it does, dies down to the ground and then comes back up. So they do have quite a robust root system. So it is a cut and come again. You can manage them very low and protect them, but it is frost, it's freeze sensitive. It's also very sensitive to root rot, so you don't want to plant it in an area that gets lots of water, or if you are in an area that gets lots of water, plant it up higher, like in a raised bed with, well draining soil, so it doesn't get root rot. So it's very affected by that, and it's also affected by the cold. But it can be an annual crop. It can be cut and come again, basically, where you have a tree. It can be huge or it can be small, and you can keep it at whatever level you want and harvest the sprouts, the small leaflets or branches, and go from there. Okay. Andy says, I'm going to grow it for fast growth for shade. I'm sure in rabbit manure because you have a lot of it, and I think it'll be good. Verna says gas. I don't know why you're saying gas, but okay. Maybe we'll find out. I probably asked you something and that was your answer. Steve says, my Tupperware was made by Cool Whip and Poop on it. I get it. Did you know that those yogurt containers, they're 4 cups up to the little line at the top? They're 4 cups. You can do with that information what you will. All right. Andy says, at winter last year, I cut it down and fed it to the animals. So you have grown it before. Awesome. Yeah, it's good fodder. It's good for you. It's good for your animals. I don't know of anything bad about it. Like there's so much research about moringa and the health benefits of moringa. It's absolutely amazing. I don't have that information fresh in my brain because I honestly forgot what the topic was going to be. And then I had a whole bunch of things going on this week, so I didn't relook at it. But it's been years since I saw this stuff. But I do have seeds somewhere. And yeah, it has a lot of uses. Okay. Nobody's telling us what a flocculant is. Okay. Don says, doesn't work out for you. Remember, mulberry trees are super fast too. Not in the high desert. My dad's is still very small. All right. Don't want a tree forever. Just shade till my cherry tree grows big enough. Yeah, you probably don't want a mulberry then because it will just continue to grow. Yeah, banana. So yeah, I mean, you could do So banana plants, Verna, are like, so those are pups. There's a corm, and it sends out more, and so that's a little different because that bananas are an herb. The plant itself is considered an herb, and so it doesn't quite grow the same. I don't know that I would cut it all the way down if you're going to keep it year to year, but yeah, yeah. Um, there you go. Flocculent. I don't think that's how it's spelled, but yeah. Andy says, last year I came across it at a grocery store, so I bought 2 little tiny trees and planted them. Awesome. Flocculent causes small particles to clump together. We're getting closer. That's true. I have additional things. Isn't that a sewer treatment thing? It is a water treatment thing. Yes. Yes. Neighbor grows a non-fruit bearing banana tree. Probably because of your region. It's probably not the right variety. Yep. Yes. So a flocculent is, what you can do is you could take, this is clean water, but if you had like dirty water, you could take the water in here. You could have that pulverized seed leftovers, put it in there, stir it up, let it settle, and it will settle out all of this stuff in the water. And all that stuff will then be attracted to the flocculent, which is the seed particles. And then let that settle, and then the top part's clear. So it's actually used in water treatment plants. I don't think any in the US, but in other countries, it is actually used for that. And I just think that's cool. And I think it's cool to have and just have that knowledge that I don't know. Maybe that's something we should look at, is if there's any other flocculants that other plants that are used as flocculants, like specific to people's areas. That would be interesting to know, just for potential clarity, water clarity issues. Yes, we finally got there. All right. Yeah. So yeah, the whole moringa tree is really, really useful. I did have it for a time at my old place. This is before I started YouTube, and it succumbed to um, the root rot, and I was very sad because they were not cheap trees that I got. Because I actually got they were like 3 feet tall already. But yeah. All right. Erica says my dad uses it to clean water when camping, then boils water. Uses moringa seeds? Or uses what? What did they use? But that's good. Andy says I say tree, but they only got about 1 inch around but tall. Yeah. Well, I mean it's seedling, sapling. How about that? That's still a tree. Okra could be used as a flocculent. Is it the shell from the fruit, or is it like what part? Do we know? I want more information. um, okay, he uses moringa seeds. That's awesome, Erica. That is awesome. Um, yeah, aloe vera. Interesting. I wonder how that works. Yeah. Um, it's just good. It's good to know these things, I think. What I would like to know, I think this hedge of mine might be Indian hawthorn, but I'm not sure. I don't think I've seen it flower yet. Or it might be, what's the other one that turns red? This is a silly question. What's the other one that has red leaves when it starts growing again? There's a lot of plants that happens too. I don't know if it is Indian hawthorn. It might be something else. Firebush, is that the thing? I think it is. All right. Verna says several plants can be used as natural flocculants, including moringa oleifera, which is what we've been talking about, okra, aloe vera, cactus, opuntia, okay, opuntia ficus, interesting, and fenugreek, interesting. They don't give you what parts though, huh? Fenugreek seeds are what are used in a lot of maple syrup flavorings. Fenugreek is, I think it's an annual. I think I also have seeds for it. I think it's an annual, and it tastes like maple, like the seeds do. It's used in a lot of Indian dishes, and then it also is. It's used to help mothers produce. I think it produce more milk, or with milk starting, something about milk production. Yeah. Oh, we're getting specific. Verna says okra. The mucilage from okra seeds can act as a natural flocculant, aiding the removal of suspended solids. Okay, and turbidity. There's the word of the day. Oh my gosh. Um. Oh, you can't go camping anymore. That's sad, Erica. Andy says, I think it has a pepper taste. I don't remember. I thought it was sweet, but I don't know. Have you had the black pepper jelly bean for Jelly Belly? Because knowing that when it goes into your mouth, it's delicious. I can see how it might be confusing otherwise. All right. Steve has a rabbit hole for us. Okra seeds roasted can be used as a coffee substitute. Also, chocolate can. Because I don't drink coffee. All right, Marissa says aloe vera gel, rich in polysaccharides, is another plant-based flocculant that can be used for water treatment. Interesting. Okay, Donna's gonna try chicory. It's really hard to grow. Really, it's really hard to grow there. Where I used to live, it grew as a weed, and it was really the only bright thing flowering in the fields in the summertime, besides mustard. Yeah. Um, Okra is easy. I wonder if it tastes like coffee. I don't know. I don't know. Okra was not easy for me to grow where I was, and I'm wondering if it was a moisture thing, not like how much water, but how much humidity. Yeah. Yeah, Vernon says chicory grows wild here. So there's two different types of chicory. The chicory I think we're talking about has the blue flower that's like that big. Is that the same kind of chicory you're talking about, Verna? Because there's another like a little small plant that's called chicory, which I think is also edible, but it's not the same. Yeah, you guys have the blue flower one? Yeah. And Verna says fenugreek seeds can be used to extract natural flocculants for sludge conditioning. That is a term. Yeah, blue flower one. Okay. Okay. Okra loves hot. Yes, where I was, it got up to 115 degrees. That's not the problem. But it never did well for me there. Of course, I also, for some reason, could never get dill going. So hopefully here I can get dill going. I bought some from the store and they're not dead yet. So that's good. Don says there are different types of chicory with the two-step root process. What's a two-step root process? I don't know what that is. Or the kind that is okay, is or is not for coffee. Okay. That's why okra does so well here. It's definitely hot here. You have humidity too, though, right, Steve? Yeah, I didn't have humidity. I think it's a little more humid here than where I was in the summer, but I don't think it's gonna. I mean, it's not nearly like in the Midwest. Yeah, garden chicory is a different plant totally. That's why I was asking, Verna, which one you had. Yeah. All right. Dawn says okra grew well here. Okra grew well for me. I plan on it again this year. Awesome. It's good. I don't like the mucilaginous stuff, so I I like them. I like them breaded and fried, mostly. But the flavor is good. Yeah. Dandelion roots can be dried and used as coffee, also, says Andy. All right. For coffee, you have to plant and then replant. Plant and then replant chicory? What? If it's planted, it should be fine. Why would that be the case? You can chew the air down here. It's so thick. Exactly, Erica. I went to school, like I said, in Iowa, and the dorms did not have air conditioning. Yeah. Yeah. Blue flowered chicory, in my opinion, is the only true chicory. Yep, there you go. Okay, Dawn says if you dry the pods of okra, rabbits like to chew on them, and they charge $5 per pod to buy for rabbit treats. Isn't that funny? All those little wooden balls or wooden this or wooden that, and people don't realize that it's gonna be gone in 2 minutes. And they're not gonna be played with. They're just gonna eat it. It's like just give them a stick of willow. It's just gonna be just as fun for them. Yeah. Um Yeah. Dawn says, oh, you already said that. Erica says Dubuque is miserable in the summertime without AC. Erica, that is exactly why I was not in Dubuque during the summertime. Dubuque is where I went to school, University of Dubuque. Yeah, that is a interesting town. We found, I think whoever made the road system was drunk at the time. There's way too many 5 and 6-way stops. We even found an 8-way stop one time. An 8-way stop. Yes. What? Yeah. Yeah, I never spent the summer there. I did, however, because I played volleyball, so I came early, a couple weeks early from when school started to do the daily doubles, and had never in my life experienced playing volleyball where you just can't play on part of the court because for no reason at all, it's slippery. Because for no reason at all, there's water on the court even after it's wiped up because it came out of the air. It was ridiculous. Yeah. So that wasn't fun. Yeah, they didn't have air conditioning in the dorms. There we go. Andy says I feed my rabbits my okra, everything, pods, leaves, and trunks. All right. Erica says that's what I've always said about the roads. Yeah, we also said that there was a bar on every corner and a church on every corner, and that's the limit of where I'm going with that. Dawn says, I grew okra as a hedge, and it was beautiful. Picked the pods and gave them to a friend. I do like them fried, but I buy it now for the parrot to get the seeds out of. That's good. That's good. I would like to grow millet at some point because I like it, but also it's just tasty for all the animals. Has anybody grown what's the hibiscus that you eat the calyxes of? Has anybody grown that one? You know what I'm talking about. I would like to grow that too. Like I think it's like a little bit lemony. Yeah. All right. Brenna says you haven't really tried okra until you pick a pod 4 inches or less and ate it raw. I tried that. It was not my thing. What can I say? Andy also agrees with you that raw okra is the best. The mucilaginous part, the flavor, yes. The mucilaginous part, no. I can do without that. Yeah. Jackie says we love okra. It's not a common veg here in the northern states. I have successfully grown it for a few years now. Sometimes it grows really tall. And for the most part, maybe 3 to 4 feet is the norm for us. All right. Oh, what did I ask? Did I ask you or did I ask other people? I don't remember what I said. Somebody tell Verna what I said. I don't know what I said. I'm sorry, Verna. Dawn says I don't grow it. My friends here grow them. Oh, the hibiscus tea. That's the question. The hibiscus that is the red, like it's more red, and you eat the calyx, not the flower, but you eat the smaller part. That's what I'm talking about. I don't know what kind of hibiscus it is, but it's used specifically for like the fruits of it, or the tea, or the buds. I don't know. I don't know what part. I think you can eat the leaves too. It's not slimy, Andy says. I don't know what variety you're growing, but the variety I grew was slimy. Steve says okra isn't yucky if you do not boil or can it. Fresh, fried, and grilled are great. Yeah, fried and grilled is what I've enjoyed. Erica says I like okra. Okra raw. Ooh, that's hard to say. Or fried because it's not as slimy. Okay. All right. Purple okra for Andy. Okay. So Verna says Matt grows it, and he's definitely in a dry area. So maybe it's just my skills. Okra and dill. I'm hoping I can grow dill here. Like I said, I bought a couple plants and they're not dead yet, but I haven't planted them yet either. And yes, should I be buying dill when I have seeds and they can pop up? No, but here's where we are. Okay. Oh, you're after the shorter ones for Baker Creek. You might have gotten purple. Okay. Okay. Oh, you're answering about the hibiscus. Okay. Got it. Dawn says I have to replant dill seed. Awesome. I like dill. That's the thing. Like it's a herb that I really enjoy, and I would use more of fresh if I could actually grow it. Yeah. Andy says I think the green might be a little more slimy. Okay, so there is differences in okra. Yeah, fried okra as in like breaded fried okra, right? Yeah. And Verna says Matt and his son grow it for tea. Okay, and then eats it. Yeah. I've not heard of that growing for tea. Bought some plants for gardening this year. Yeah, that's where I am right now. Dawn says once I get dill going in the garden, it comes back every year, and that is my goal. So that's what happens with a lot of herbs is I really like to let things self-seed and do their own thing. I haven't. I had a really good seed bank at my old place, but obviously that didn't make it here. But yeah. Um, Dawn says, hubby killed my dill patch. Oh. Yeah, hibiscus for tea, not okra. Okay. I thought you were talking about okra. Got it. Many, many types of okra. True. Erica says, I suspect he expects me to do the gardening, but you have a black thumb. No, you don't have a black thumb. You don't. You just have to understand what the plants need. And sometimes that is they might need a drain hole so they don't get flooded since your yard was full of water. Yeah. Steve says, Erica, they make green gloves. Oh, Steve, they should make gardening gloves where only the thumb is green. That's what they should do. And you can say, I have 2 green thumbs. That would be hilarious. Anyway. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Raised beds for Erica. Yes, raised beds, you can have more control over what your plants are getting, their water situation to be elevated and all that. Raised beds, I will say, take between 3 and 5 years to mature and really get everything working like you want it to. So you do have to be patient. So I do recommend spending the time and or the money to put in all the things at the beginning. If you have rabbit poo, put that in. If you have blood meal or blood, like if you're processing an animal, this is what I do. If I'm processing an animal, I either save the blood or I rinse out the bucket with water. And then when I pour off the water, I pour that at my plants. I have been pouring it around the fruit trees here. Same thing when I do, when I rest my rabbits in the meat in cooler in ice water. When I daily, when I change out the water, that water is going to have some blood in it, and I take those buckets and put them, put that water on at the base of these trees, the fruit trees, or I actually put a bunch in the garden, in the space that will be a garden, that's currently not, and just to get the nutrient level up there. And so, yeah, it'd be good. It'd be good. All right. Erica says, I plan on container gardening to avoid flooding. That is fine. Make sure your containers are big enough, and then also make sure your containers have holes in the bottom of them, because if they don't have holes in the bottom of them, you're gonna have them retain more water than they need. And then also, if you are container gardening, they do need to be fertilized more often, because the plants aren't in the ground. So those are just some tips. Yep. Andy says, so don't use wood for raised beds then. What? You can. You can use wood. At my old place, I used urbanite. I jackhammered up my park strip and had those pieces and used that. You can just do a mound. You can just do a mound. I mean, the only thing is it'll be rounded on top, and that can affect where the water goes. Another option would be to do hugelkultur, and so hugelkultur is basically a bunch of sticks and logs, and then you cover that with some soil and some compost and all of that, and those sticks and logs will decompose, and you'll have a mound that it'll have better humus. Yeah, I think you're fine with using wood. Just know that it might it's going to rot at some point, and be okay with it. Yeah. Roberta says, start off filling the raised bed with wood waste and yard waste before you add dirt. Exactly. So that type of stuff it works for two different things. One, it acts as a filler. So like if you want something to be up higher so it's easier to garden, it acts as a filler to make it higher. And then number two, over time, especially if you have lots of earthworms in your area, it will basically decompose, compost, and just become good compost and good moisture retention for your plants that you plant on it. So yeah. Steve says building a good soil does take 5 to 6 years. We don't have all that black gold soil like they have in Illinois. Exactly. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. If you can spend the time and spend the money on some really good things to put in there, or really good, you can go with just, hey, I'm going to be using compost that I make and put it here, and that's fine. But if you add things like rock dust is good depending on where you are. Different kinds of rock dust will bring in different micronutrients, and some of that takes a while to break down. Some of it actually breaks down pretty quickly. I talked with the not Azure Standard. I talked with the Azomite rep a year ago, I think, at the last, not this last Heirloom Expo, but the one before that. And she was saying that before they had recommended you put down stuff this year for next year's harvest because it's rock dust. But some of the testing that they were doing was finding that it was actually going into the plants in the same year of the application. So that's really interesting to me. And there are different types of rock dust. and they have different qualities. So rock dust is more about getting the micronutrients in there. Sea kelp, that kind of thing, getting the micronutrients in there. And then inoculating, I would inoculate it with mycorrhizae. And I do that when planting plants. I don't do it just to be like, ha, because they help plants. But if you do all those things, your bed is going to be more ready to be a community faster than if you don't do those things. If you don't do those things, it'll be fine. And it will become that over time. But if you do some of these other things, it will be a better process, or it will be a better result, a faster result. Yeah. All right. Scrolling up. Verna says, or Ohio, because Northwest Ohio is the black swamp that was filled up. Oh boy. Andy says, I put my leftover from butchering in containers and then buried it, hopefully. Wood needs to be replaced every few years. I'm talking about for the side. Yeah, so if you're using it as a box to put your bed in, it's fine to do. It's just that you knowing that you're going to replace it. And putting wood in like in your mound, in your system is fine. And maybe that wood looks like sticks at this point, or weeds, or something like that breaks down, then that's fine. Yeah. Andy says, I powder my bones after I make bone broth and put in my garden too. Yep, that is also a good thing that gets your calcium in there. You can also do eggshells. You can powder eggshells, and that takes a while to break down. So I would actually put that into a blender, but it will take a while to break down. And by breaking down, what happens is your garden bed. Part of why it takes 3 to 5 years for things to really get going is you're working towards and waiting for that lump of soil, that lump of compost, lump of stuff that you put in there to break down enough to become connected enough for the fungal network to be in place, for the bacteria to be in place, for the microorganisms to be in place, and then also just the little buggies to be in place. And all of those have to get to a point where their population levels are pretty are doing well, are pretty structured and doing well. And when you have that system, think of it like a city. When you have everything in the city doing what it's supposed to, how it's supposed to, then it makes planting a plant and growing a plant a more efficient use of energy. Whereas when you put a plant into a space and it doesn't have all the highways and roads of the mycorrhizae and the bacteria and the mini bugs and all that, those have to form in order to help that plant to the best of their ability. Hope that makes sense. All right. Erica says, I've spent last few years researching raised beds and hugelkultur. Awesome. Just haven't been able to start the garden until now. Well, that is good. You now know that some places have 3 inches of space that you need to raise up, I guess. Yeah. And you're doing, Andy says, I'm doing the mineral tubs for my raised bed. Awesome. I'm hoping you're drilling some drain holes in there. Hopefully that works for you. They're just big containers. And see, we don't have those over here, I don't think. Everybody does the mineral licks. I've never seen any of the tubs. I've only seen it on YouTube. Yeah. Jackie says, my wood beds lasted 10 years. Now I have galvanized 3x6 foot beds by 3. I have well-seasoned dirt and compost going. Awesome. I had the best raised beds at my old place, but hey, we're redoing this, restarting things. Vern says, also bury your kitchen waste in your raised bed. Yep. Jackie says, planning on quail waste and blood going in. Awesome. Caution on quail and chicken and other poultry poo. Their manure should not go on right away. If you compost that separately, it doesn't have to be separate from other things, just separate from your garden. If you compost that down like 6 to 9 months, I think is what people recommend, depending on how fast things compost down in your area, and then put it on, then that will be a better situation, because it has too much nitrogen. It can, quote unquote, burn your plants. So just a little warning. Oh, composting in place. Yep. Erica says, my kitchen scraps go to the chickens and the worms. Yep. And then your chickens and your worms make compost for you. There you go. And Verna's saying exactly what I just said. So yeah. All right. Waste will be composted and flipped regularly. That sounds wonderful. Awesome. All right. Good night, Dawn. Thank you for coming. We didn't talk very much about moringa. I kind of gave you guys the lowdown. If we want to talk more about that, then we can talk about it. If you're just happy to have an intro, then I give you guys a little intro. If anybody else has something to contribute to the conversation about moringa, then that is good. Let us know. Jackie says, I'm a researcher when I am totally into something. Yep. Yeah, yep, all researchers. All right. Andy says, I used to toss sticks and twigs into my buckets every year when I flipped the dirt to clean the yard up. I didn't know it was the best thing to do. There you go. Yep. So part of composting is having those browns. So compost is approximately 50-50 browns and greens. Yes, there are ways to figure these things. Yes, there are more complex ways of doing things. No, I don't always do 50-50. It just doesn't always happen. If something smells, add browns. But greens and browns. Greens is basically green vegetation, green, fruit peels and fruit and lettuce and things that are or were pretty much living. Browns are things like wood and wood chips and things that are dead-ish, right? So straw, I would say hay is as well, and grass clippings probably too, if you let them dry out. But those are the carbons. So we have carbons, and then the greens, which is nitrogen plus, right? Nitrogen and other things. And so when those combine, they work well together to heat up and to get the system going into decomposition. And then all our wormies and buggies and fungus work on top of that to get things done. All right. Yep, you can also grow mushrooms, and when it's done, great for garden too. There you go. Just make sure the mushrooms you're picking are the ones you planted. Andy says, I'm going to try self-watering with the tubs. Good. Is that self-wicking? Because you can make wicking tubs too. Good luck, and let us know how it turns out. Brenda says, instead of drilling holes in the bottom, do them on the side where the bottom of the soil will be so the dirt doesn't plug the drain holes. Yep, that's a good tip. Good tip. And Steve says, put tubes or plastic bottles filled with holes to hold water at the level, and you don't have to water so often. Yep. So that is like an Oya. An Oya is a unglazed pot, like a terracotta pot. They make them specifically for that. You could literally use a terracotta pot. You don't have to drill a hole in a terracotta pot that is unglazed because it will seep through naturally. But what Steve is talking about is a way to do that if you already have a plastic water bottle. It helps It's not quite as slow, I don't think, but yeah, it helps. Erica says black soldier fly larva will actually eat poultry waste, and then you can use the frass from them right away. Absolutely, yes, yes, and that's actually something I want to get going at some point. Frass, fun fact, just means bug poop. Yeah, black gold, exactly, Steve. Verna, I read that hot scat poultry, and I just thought that would be a really awesome name for a band, like a scat band. Hot scat, hot manure is poultry, cows, horses, etc. Cold manure is rabbit, goats, ducks, llama. I don't know about horses and cows. Is that hot? Is it? It might be. Um, I wouldn't think it would be, but it could be. Okay, self-wicking. Good. Eric's here. Welcome, Eric. Welcome, welcome. As a scarecrow, people say I'm outstanding in my field, but hey, it's in my genes. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Amy says that's exciting. I'm apparently unattracted to black soldier fly larva. What? Welcome, Amy, by the way. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yes, it does have to age a bit. Oh my gosh. Amy, you just rolled in. We were talking about moringa earlier. Do you have anything to add that I don't know if you heard, but do you have anything to add or questions about moringa? Because that was our topic today. All right. Steve says cow manure is not nitrogen rich. I didn't think so. I didn't think horse was either. So the reason, and I'm not, this is just out of my memory that I don't think those are in there. The reason why poultry specifically is a hot manure is because it has a lot of nitrogen. The reason why it has a lot of nitrogen is it has chickens don't pee. Birds don't pee. If you learn nothing else, you just learn that. Birds don't pee. Everything comes out in one, and that is why there's nitrogen in it. So we talk about, llamas and goats and rabbits and all those guys, they do pee. The nitrogen of their waste goes out in the pee, and the remainder has very little nitrogen in it, and that is the poo. So the cold versus hot is talking about the amount of nitrogen in it. So yeah, there you go. All right. Eric says I've been dealing with chicken pox like symptoms for 4 weeks. Oh no. Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask, Amy, if it's shingles. Yeah, did you have chicken pox when you were a kid? If you had chicken pox when you're a kid, that is the same virus that causes shingles. And so it can come back at you as an adult. And I've heard they're absolutely terrible. So I'm hoping whatever it is, you can get it under control soon. Because I've heard terrible things about shingles. Yeah. Hopefully you are feeling better soon. And hopefully you've gone to the doctor. Yeah, so if you had it when you were a kid, it could be shingles, which is the exact same virus. It's just in a different form. And after you're done with it, well, at first I would go to the doctor for sure if you haven't already been. But after you're done with it, I highly recommend getting the shot for that because there is a shot for that. I mean, getting it now probably wouldn't help, but for future. Man, I hope you feel better soon because that sucks. All right, Verna says AI overview. Oh my gosh. AI and I are not friends right now. While horse manure can be a valuable fertilizer, you should not put fresh horse manure directly on your garden as it can burn plant roots and contain weed seeds and pathogens. The weed seeds and pathogens I know is true. I would look it up somewhere that's not AI, just personally. AI, especially like on Google, has been giving very wonky information. And, it might have to sit for a little bit, and that's fine. Just don't have your horse in your garden. Yeah. Compost it first or allow it to age for several months. Okay. All right. Now we know. Erica says, my grandpa had chicken pox 3 times. Oh my gosh. Wow. Shingles doesn't care. Oh my gosh. And it can be extreme. I've heard it's, yeah. Axe body spray on my back started it. What? Well, don't use that again. um, Definitely go to the doctor. And if that's an allergy, it could be an allergy, but I can't imagine it lasting for that long. Man. All right. Amy says, look up dermatome map of the body. It is typically on one side of the body and follows nerve pathways. Oh, okay. Yeah, stinky spray. I agree, stinky spray. Just allergic to stinky spray. Oh my gosh. Okay, so Amy says, I've read in old timers they say well-rotted manure. I'm just saying, I don't know the right answer on the cow and horse. I suspect they are more of a cold manure than a hot manure, but it might have to sit some. I mean, horse poo is it's fairly solid. Cow poo, on the other hand, is not solid. So it's a splatty splat. Yeah, I just want us to be looking up. Yeah. Okay, good. You're hopefully on a good track, Eric. Hopefully you're recovered soon, and hopefully it stops. Because man, that sucks. Okay, Verna says four or more months for the horse. Okay. 2 years for cow poo. Oh my gosh, Andy. Are you sure? That's a long time. That's going to be brick hard. You could have already burned it as fuel. The only thing I know about the cow manure is when I was little, my parents got a load. I don't know how big this load was, but got a load of cow manure delivered for the garden one year. And we had so many weeds. So many. Yeah. That's what you think too? Yeah. Rhoda says to safely use cow manure in your garden, allow it to age for at least 6 months, ideally longer, to break down pathogens and weed seeds and to reduce the risk of burning plants. I have a feeling that's more about the pathogens and weed seeds, and I don't believe that weed seeds would be gone in 6 months. Yeah. Cow manure composts naturally in about 3 months. You've never been in the high desert. It also continues for years. Yeah. Depends on where you are, for sure. For sure. We would go out in the well, actually in California. There was a person that was taught cow pie frisbee in the field. Just saying, it wasn't me on either end. Yeah. PJ says horse and cow needs to rest for several months. Farmers spread it in the fall and winter and early spring on the hay fields. Okay. All right. Like I said, I don't know about that. Didn't say the stink wouldn't linger. Oh my gosh. I got some cow poo one year and I have so many weeds right now, green. Exactly. That's what happened at my parents' is that there are so many different weeds. And once you have weeds one year, guess what you have the next year? Yeah. Amy says, just an aside, I made some wildly good chili tonight. Awesome. You did not bring enough for everybody though. Fail. Kidding. Not too hot, thickened with mushroom powder, use spring onions and basement basil. I love it. And then I made cornbread from scratch, out of control. Yum. And yet you did not come to share. That sounds amazing. I actually haven't made cornbread in a very long time. That sounds actually very delicious. Yeah. All right. Andy says, I got some. Oh, I guess she said that. Berna says, Amy, have you ever added a couple tablespoons of cocoa to your chili? Interesting. No. PJ says, goat, llama, duck, and other waterfowl can go directly on the garden. I remember you saying that about the waterfowl earlier. Eric says, chocolate comes from cocoa bean that comes from a tree, which is a plant. Therefore, chocolate is salad. Chocolate's a fruit. Actually, it's a seed. The part that we eat. The part that is the fruit is actually very good too. Chocolate is salad. Yep. A fruit salad, maybe. Yeah. Same with coffee. Eric says, my neighbor suggested I put cow manure on my strawberries. I tried it. I'm going back to whipped cream. You're back, Eric. You're back. Andy says, when I was a kid, we got a load of poo delivered too. Are you rhyming on purpose? My brother and I didn't know it was poo. We just thought it was dirt. My brother made a big hole and played in it. He got worms. Oh my gosh, a 1-year-old. That's horrible. Oh my gosh. Steve says, I drink vegetable juice every day. It's made by Folgers. I think that's fruit juice, actually. Amy says, cocoa powder can add depth of flavor to chili. It is not so secret to 5-alarm chili. I didn't know. It's a secret to me. All right. Verna says, anti-aging properties of chocolate enhances the same. Anti-aging properties of chocolate enhances the same in tomatoes. Enhances the same what? What? I don't know. I don't know. I know chocolate is used in, in Mexican cooking, not like sweetened chocolate. I mean, you can for the drinks, but for mole. Then not all mole has chocolate in it. Okay, properties of tomatoes. Okay. Eric says, why do fish live in salt water? Because pepper makes them sneeze. Good reason. Steve, I know. I don't think anti-aging chocolate is real. Have you seen how I look? I eat a lot of chocolate. The face of youth. Yeah, what do you have to do to cancel out other things? That's how much. I guess I haven't eaten them enough. Yeah, Steve, you gotta up your prescription. Amy says coyote jamboree behind my yard earlier. I was out with the infrared binoculars. What? Where did you get infrared binoculars? I've used infrared binoculars when we were bat trapping, and the bat biologist and we were helping bat trap, and we opened it up in the field, and we were opening up the instruction stuff, and the very first instruction was how to basically destroy it if found behind enemy lines. Yes, these are real night vision, not infrared, night vision binoculars, and they were awesome to play with. And I don't remember how to make it so people don't know how to, replicate it if found behind enemy lines, because I don't have it. Yeah, the coyotes have been going here as well. The video from today had a pretty long segment of coyote howling. I actually have missed that sound. I heard that growing up and haven't heard it in California really at all. And then coming back here, and it's down like in the valley here. They sound closer than they are, but they're still close. And yeah. She says I buy the party pack of Reese's and eat them myself. Thus, I identify as a party party of one. Oh my gosh. All right. Hope you enjoyed that. Verna says, cuz that is because you eat milk chocolate, not dark chocolate. Well, milk does the body good. Didn't you hear? Erica says, Andy went out with his rifle last night because the coyotes were so close. My goodness. Yeah, so I come I have an attitude towards coyotes from a biologist point of view, which they're good. They're good on the landscape. Yes, their population can get large, and there's reasons why it gets large. Is that we've hunted out a lot of their natural predators or competitors. Um, but I also understand that they do some livestock damage. But I also understand that a lot of the times livestock damage is done when there isn't appropriate protection for said livestock. Example, my neighbor has a llama. A llama is appropriate livestock protection for coyotes. Donkeys are appropriate livestock protection for coyotes. I don't know how well geese do, but I'm sure a confident goose will do it too. But I know there's lots of different ways to look at predators, and I may experience a loss at some point that may make me think differently, but yeah, there we go. Emus too, Verna says. Yep. Steve says, chocolate is chocolate. I don't discriminate. Yeah, it's good. Oh, milk protein binds the antioxidants so they don't work. Verna, why are you telling us this stuff? Let Steve and I have our peace. Oh, Erica says, I love coyotes, just not in my yard. Okay. Amy says, I had armament as well to deter. I have 2 Muscovies who refuse to go in the coop. They hang out at the pond. Okay. Okay. So you were the deterrent. You were the deterrent. Yeah. I know for a while, some people, I think it was near Yosemite. What's the one, the Tetons? Is that right? Is that near Yosemite? Somewhere near there, someone was studying using flashing for coyotes, and it was like kind of working in certain circumstances and not working in others. And I think it worked like initially, but if you have it on there all the time, then they get used to it. Anyway, coyote rollers, if it's a smaller area, man, I want to see videos of that being used. It's basically a tube on the top of a fence that they have to get up on like this so they can push themselves over. And that on that tube is another tube, and so basically they go like this, and the tube rolls on the other tube, and it goes, doop, and they can't get up. And I would like to see videos of that if anybody does it, because I think it would be hilarious to watch. All right. Verna did a page on it in college. On the milk. Yep. I wasn't actually complaining. I was just stating chocolate. Erica says my coyote cross dog is a good deterrent. There you go. Cocoa nibs extract is really good in coffee. I disagree, but that's because I don't like coffee. Amy says I ended up peeing a few places in the yard. Strategic chemical deterrent. You know what? That works. When Ringo was in the laundry room for after his surgery, I would spread his little poopies around, like where the rabbits are and stuff around the outside of it, because he would often poop in that area. So I would like try and mark his territory. And I mean, who knows if it was a good idea, bad idea, didn't work, but that's what I did. Is I like, well, I'm either throwing this away, putting it in a pile somewhere, or whatever. And so I was like, nope, I'm just going to spread his scent all over the place, and everybody will know that he's still here. Yeah. Steve is well stocked with strategic chemical deterrent, it sounds. Health benefits of chocolate. Yep. Steve says house cat urine is a deterrent for bobcats. They are identified as a predator. They are identified as a predator. Whenever Chanel No. 5 came out, and then they had like the knockoff brand of Chanel No. 5 that's a perfume. I'm not a perfume person, but I remember learning about this. I think it was when I was college or something. But in college, I learned that the knockoff version of Chanel 95 is actually an attractant for mountain lions. And biologists were using it to attract mountain lions once they found that out. So, if you are a perfume wearer, which I am not, don't go hiking with that stuff on, because you never know what you're going to attract. Oh my goodness, Eric. Hipsters must burn their tongue on coffee all the time. They do everything before it was cool. That's a new one. I have not heard that one. Andy says, I don't like the taste of coffee either. It can taste like coffee. It can't taste like coffee for me to drink it. I need flavor. I have a friend that told me, oh, I can make you coffee so you can't taste the coffee. And I was like, number one, no, you can't. And number two, what's the point? And she did it, and it just tasted like coffee with a bunch of sugar and milk. Yeah. Yep. Cat sweat. Oh my gosh. Andy says I drink coffee in the winter because it's cheaper than hot cocoa and way more flavor options. Okay. Or, which I might get that out. No, probably not tonight. I don't know. I still have to dig more garlic tonight. Because I'm moving it, not because it's ready. If you juice apples, you can can that up in a water bath canner and save it for later. And then you can make apple cider or spiced apple cider. Put it on the stove and put some spices in it, heat it up, and it's so yummy and so warming. It's good, and I keep forgetting that I have it. Oh my gosh. Eric says she just texted me, and I said I can still smell. Yeah. We'll let people read that one. Oh my gosh. That is why spelling matters. There's many reasons why spelling matters, and punctuation. Vietnamese coffee is amazing, huh? What about it is, because I'm not a coffee fan for any of it. One of the things that I do have, which I need to look up again what it's used for, but oh great, I just forgot the name of it. What's the camellia? I have a camellia, and it's started to flower. I forgot to take video or picture of it for the weekend review. I'll do that hopefully for next week. But there's something with the flower you can do, and I don't remember what, so I'm gonna have to look that up. But I know I can, once the leaves start to grow, I can use the very fresh leaves to make tea, which makes black tea, white tea, and green tea. I think Rubio's comes from that too, maybe. I have to look it up again. But it's not the species that is used like in the tea industry, but it's the genus, and it works. And I've read up on it, and it should work good. Okay, Amy says, was a base of Chanel 95 cat sweat. They should shave the can at it and put it under heat lamps and collect this. Oh my gosh, weird random perfume fact. Okay. I have no idea. They use weird things for perfume, and I don't understand why people still do it. The base of reasoning for why it existed was people didn't bathe. We have that ability and more readily available to us now, so I don't know why people do that. They think it smells good, but to me, it. I've not smelled one that I liked. I think people should smell like people. Personal choice. Um, yeah. And I also wonder what that's doing to our pheromone receptors as far as partnerships. Okay, enough about that. Amy says, I was in a high-end tea catalog and a pricey variety was hand-picked by monkeys. If anyone knows what monkeys tend to do with their hands, well, I just didn't any order of that variety. There you go. There you go. Yeah, I think you're right, Erica. Oh no. Eric says my perfume store got robbed. They took every cent I had. Yeah. I know people like it. Some people like it. I don't. Yeah. But that's okay. That is okay. Um anyway, our topic today was moringa. So if anybody uh I did have a quick rundown about moringa, and we didn't really talk about it very long, but it's an awesome plant and a high protein plant, and it's good to do, good to have. Uh, there you go. Oh, is Kopi Lock coffee? That just doesn't sound good. Sounds like someone's talking. The dance? Did I say something? That is a dance name? I don't know. I don't know. Oh, moringa, not so moringa is a tree. Macarena is what you're thinking. Macarena. Moringa. Um, it is a tree that is very, very high in protein and all the amino acids that you need, and tons and tons and tons of other things. And it is super high in nutrition of all sorts, and it's amazing. And there's all sorts of studies about it. And excuse me. And it can be grown as kind of a cut and come again, where you cut off the leaf branches and then it'll come up, it'll grow that again. I mean, it is a tree, but yeah. And they are, the seeds can be pressed for oil for use in cooking um, and cosmetics, and then also the after the oil is pressed, what's left over is used as a flocculant for cleaning water treatment. So it's pretty awesome. Awesome. Amy says, my friend in Vegas has a moringa tree. She grew from seed. Absolutely. Absolutely. She sent me seeds that are pretty large. Good. Good. Moringa, the tree of life. Yep. Or also the drumstick tree. Amy says, hua. It's moringa. Oa. Oh. Anyway. Eric says, I have a pet tree. It's a lot like having a pet dog, but the bark is much quieter. Goodness. Steve says, the coffee beans of Kopi Lalak is eaten by a cat-like animal, then excretes the beans that are used for coffee. It's pricey. Yeah. I mean, the question is, who was the first one to go picking through poop for coffee? And how did that come about? There's your next children's story. Joy said, I totally agree about the perfume and the coffee. Ooh. Also, air fresheners. Yeah. Febreze sets me into full-blown asthma attack. Can't stand coffee. Yeah. Coffee to me smells like a dead rat. Yeah. Sorry, I don't know what to say about that, but at least Joy is agreeing with me. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, like who pulled lobster out of the ocean and said, "Let's eat it." Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things like that. Um, there are a lot of things like that for sure. Weasel coffee is expensive. I don't know about this, man. Poop coffee doesn't sound appealing. I agree, Erica, for multiple reasons. Yeah, Verna says I know someone that loves the smell of coffee but can't stand to drink it. I know actually several people that's true for. It's just all around bad for me. I know when I used to be in the office, I was the only one that didn't drink coffee, and I was the furthest office from the coffee maker, and I would smell it a full minute before the same person that did it every single time. They would say, "Coffee's ready." The smell would get to him, but I would smell it for a full minute before it got to him. And I was like, nasty. I don't have to smell coffee anymore. How about that? And he's one of those ones like the smell and not the taste. Okay. Roasting can only kill so much. you know. Yeah. Yeah. Um, I don't know. So there's two things that, at least in California where I used to live, were at one point substituted were natural substitutes for coffee, and one is coffee berry. I have no idea if it tastes similar or not, but people would use it, and the berries like that big. And then it's on a chaparral plant, which is a dry area bush. And then the other one that people would use for the caffeine-like effects is Mormon tea, which I think is ephedra, which is an ingredient in one of the things that people cheat with sports, and I don't remember what it's called, but um, yeah, but it was called, one of the names for it is ephedra. It's a I think that's this genus name, and then uh, yeah, Mormon tea is the common name, and that's a bush. And you eat the like leaf stalks, I guess. Not eat, but brew it. Yeah. Andy says, I only started drinking coffee a few years ago because it was so cold and needed something warm to drink. There are other options, Andy, like tea or hot chocolate or hot water or oatmeal or hot apple cider. Yeah. Amy says, maybe freeze dried, then roasted, get both ends of the spectrum. The cold and the hot. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. You might have to put it in a pressure cooker too. Oh. Verna says, I can drink coffee black and sweet, or with cream and sugar, but not with just cream. Okay. Okay. Oh my gosh. Erica started early at 13. Not I. Not I. Not at all. Um, oh, and C says coffee has been linked to a lower risk of type 2 diabetes, Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's disease, and some types of cancer. I'll never get any of those. Yeah, linked. There's so many things that are linked to reducing this or reducing that I really wonder how these studies are done, because there's so many things that affect us in life that I think it would be hard to attribute one thing or another to that. Yeah. Amy wants to know, does anyone know what happens to R of date to tofu? What? Say it more clearly. R of date tofu? I don't know. Out of date tofu. No, I do not. it becomes tofu. I do not. I mean, it's soybean, so I don't know. Soy lasts forever, says soy sauce. I don't know. I don't like anything in it. Okay. Oh my gosh. Andy says 50 years before I started drinking coffee. No, thank you. No, thank you. Huh. I don't know about the out of date tofu. The kind in plastic tubs. I just realized it had some 4 years out of date. Is it opened yet? Smell it. um, I I'm not a tofu fan. Um, and the last time I saw a plastic tub tofu with the pullback thing, it was being used as a prop when I was in drama in high school. When our drama troupe volunteered to do a disaster drill for the county, and we had a character, and they had our vitals that we were supposed to have on a card pinned to our clothes, and like we all each had a character, and one person's character was brains. Yeah, it was used mashed up as brains. So I'm no help in that. Oh my gosh. Verna says expired tofu can become unsafe to eat due to bacteria growth and spoilage, indicated by bad odor, slimy texture, discoloration, and mold. That sounds like pretty much anything, right? Supple and white. I don't know. I wouldn't eat it, but I also probably wouldn't eat a block of tofu. Um, File 13. I don't know about this. Verna's suggestion: open it, smell it. If it doesn't stink, it should be safe. I'm not putting a vote in this game. Not putting a vote in this game. Not my responsibility. Oh my gosh. Alrighty. It is getting late. So I am thinking it's time to hang up and call it a night and have some dinner. Um, yeah. Yeah, Verna. Expiration date is usually a Best By date. Yeah. Yep. File 13 is military for a trash can. Okay. Okay. And Erica said, I've never considered tofu edible. I mean, it's a protein block. It's a block of protein. It's soy. I don't know if it has any other ingredients. I'm uneducated in this. Um, to me, there's so much soy in our packaged goods that I don't know that I need more of it. Yeah. Oh, Eric says, enjoy dinner. I'm eating faux chicken. Faux means fake. So is it fake chicken, or is it some Vietnamese type of thing that faux means something else? Eat real chicken, Eric. Steve says, I'm guessing it's a Vietnamese naming and it's not an English naming. Hopefully it's tasty. I would imagine it would be tasty. Yeah. Um, Anyway, all right, guys, I'm gonna get off here, and hope everybody's doing well. Next week we'll be back 6 p.m. Pacific time Monday, and then also Katrina's Kits is happening on the 26th, and May I would like to do the weekend before Mother's Day. And because I'm prepping for a bake sale, I don't know what I'm making yet, but I will let you guys know once I know. And it looks like for the people that are here, that's an okay thing to do, is another dessert, because I know we're doing dessert this time. All right. Thanks for laughing with me, Amy. Yes, absolutely. All right, everybody's saying good night. So I will say good night. Oh. Got it, Eric. Okay. Peanut butter cookies is actually on my list. It is in here on a list. Oh, pho was a noodle. Okay. So it is fake chicken. It's a noodle. Well, enjoy that. All right. Good night, guys. I will talk to you later. If you guys didn't watch the beginning, go ahead and watch the beginning. And somewhere in there, we talked about moringa. So that was a reminder. That was supposed to be the topic of the night. But as you guys know, we range all over the place. And I will say good night. Have a wonderful night.